Hello and greetings and welcome to the channel. It is indeed Northworthy Sagas and Stories. Now in my hand I have one of my many wooden clubs. This one is made from ash, and I'm sure you agree, if you was using that in battle and you're going to attack somebody, well, that could do quite a lot of damage. But over here I have a very big stick or branch. But is there within this branch a club? Now I've left this out for quite a while. I should have made it last year but I didn't get round to it. So in this video, and it will be probably a 2 or 3 part video, we're going to try to make a club. But also being careful not to chop myself and hurt myself. I've got a few little tools I can use. I've got an Anglo-Saxon T-shaped axe which isn't super sharp and actually needs a better handle, so I won't be using that one for now. I'm going to be using this more modern axe because it's razor sharp and it will do the job nicely. Now this may work out or it may not work out, we'll have to see. It depends on how rotten this actual branch is. And it's made from cherry. It is a branch that I took down from a cherry tree last year and I left it out to season. But I don't know whether within this, because there is some tough wood, you can see here, that's quite tough. Because you've got to be careful with your hands when using anything like this. So the first part is trying to get the rotten material off. Working on. Of course it's difficult to talk and chop at the same time, but I'll try my best for you. Now one tip, what you can do, you can cut into it like this and make little cuts, and then that will weaken the wood. And as you can see, in places it is very rotten. But also in places it is very tough. So of course I don't want it to be this long, so I will have to saw it down. So I'm thinking about here, it will get sawn at some point. But let's continue and see what we can do. Yeah, that's tough, that is, that's good. Of course, if you're ever doing anything like this, you have to be so careful, and especially when you've got very sharp tools. What you don't want is to hurt yourself. I don't want to go to the hospital today. I'll probably have to do this over a few days because already my arm's getting a bit worn out, but we'll keep on continuing to try to get the bulk of this rotten material off. The more I get off, the better it's going to be, and the more we're going to realise that yes, there is within this a good club. And it's not the best material, cherry, but in those times you'd just use what you had at hand. So already we are reducing the weight. You can see some of this is very rotten. Some of it very tough. What do you think? Would it work out? Would it end up being a Viking or Anglo-Saxon club one day? Of course, this is also good exercise. So I'm going to just cut down, weaken it, and then come back down. Now, I don't own an authentic saw, not yet. I wouldn't mind owning one. If anybody makes authentic saws and would love to send me one, I'll be very grateful. And I would put it to use on the channel. So let's try to get this bit off. So you can pretty solid, then you can feel the sound difference where it's rotten. And I've made a few clubs over the years. Already that's beginning to take shape because it's still way too big. That was a good chunk. Another good chunk. Let's just change the angle. Now I'll probably film this over a few days because I do have problems with my hands. I can't grip for long without having pain in my hands. It probably means one day I'll have to have surgery on them to release the tensions in the tendons. But of course in the Viking times and the Anglo-Saxon times, you just got on with it. What you don't want is to run down and hit your leg, so always be careful. And the more weight I reduce on it, the better I are. I do have another axe. This is not so sharp, but a little bit heavier. We'll try this one for a little bit. This has a leather grip and a bit of a concave handle. That was a good chunk. We're going to go back to this axe because this axe is just better, in my opinion. Of course, when you're doing this, you're going to get very dusty with wood. Yeah, I can definitely see within this log, this branch, a good club. I can definitely see it. It's in there. It's going to take a lot of work to get it out. And I've got a bit of a notch here. This is very tough. I've not really touched this side yet. You can see the staining from it being outside, so let's have we'll just run down with some little cuts. And the idea of this is when you're cutting into it, you're giving it and making it weaker so that your actual bite, and then you could take more off. Now I like to hold my axe halfway down. I could hold it further back, but I find there's not so much control over the axe if you do it that way. But of course everybody works their own method and their own style when it comes to woodworking. You could also see I've already made a lot of mess already. We'll flip it round and see if we can't take some of this edge off. I'm trying to keep my legs as far as apart as I can. What I could do is put both my legs this side, so if I do swing down, it's not going to hit my leg, as I don't have much protection on. And my leg bindings, or where Ingers to the Saxons would protect me. So this section is quite rotten, so let's just try to bite into this a bit. So I'm looking for the club section round about here, but I've got to take away this softwood, as it's not going to be of any use in the battle. I'm looking for the hardwood inside of this log or branch. And I do like cherry. It doesn't make a very nice handle. In fact, this one's made out of cherry. After all, if you don't have much ash or oak or anything else you could use hazel, you could also use willow if you're desperate enough. If you don't have much of that, you're going to use what you can find available. See, that's very soft there. We've got a bit of heartwood coming through, which is good. And if you're not used to doing this, just be extra careful. And I could get to the stage where I can get this section in a wood horse clamp, and then start getting a draw knife, and perhaps further along in this process we'll demonstrate that. And what we're looking for the nice hardwood in the centre, and we're looking to make also and find a nice pattern. But definitely at the moment you have to be a troll or a giant to use this club, or be a very, very tall Viking. Of course, this will also build up your muscles. You'll have natural working muscle rather than gym muscle, which I prefer myself. So, a bit more. And I'll probably film this over a few days, because I think after 10-15 minutes of working on it, my arms are going to be quite knackered. And it's not easy to talk whilst doing this, because the noise I'm making with the axe is going to be louder than my voice, even though I often do say I've got a loud voice. Can't help it. I think this may work out. I was kind of a little bit fearful when I saw the quality of the log earlier. It does have a nice split here, but I think that split will end up I'm not going too far down because we've got a nice knot here, so I think it will work out. And I think within this there is a nice and a lovely hand club. Of course, hand clubs like this have been used for a long time. They go back to the Bronze Age and further back into the Neolithic, because let's face it, if you don't have a flint blade or a bronze blade or iron blade, then having a club like this is very useful to have, not only as a weapon but also as a tool. So let's just go back. And you can see the nice colours already. It's got the typical cherry colours, the kind of the reds and the pales and the darker reds. So I'm quite hopeful that this will work out and we will end up with a nice Viking club, or Anglo-Saxon of course. And they talk about clubs in the Sagas. I think it's in one of the Sagas I've read, I can't remember which one, I read too many of them. They were talking about how a warrior had no weapons, so he borrowed somebody's axe and chopped a big branch down and made himself a club for the battle. So I'm just trying to cut in to weaken the wood, and then I can hopefully get a good swing on. Right. Got to watch my feet. You don't want it landing on your toes because it is very heavy. Making sure I'm recording. So that's part one of the video of making a club by hand, and I'm sure you agree, when it comes out and gets finished, it's going to be very nice indeed.